get right into it. Tyreek Hill, new deal. This comes after the DJ Moore deal gets done in Chicago. Tyreek Hill gets a brand new deal. We've been hearing chirpings for a while that Tyreek wanted something new now that the market has kind of changed completely. He was voted the number one player in the NFL by NFL players. He was allegedly seeking something new, but it wasn't really because he was at practice. It wasn't as loud. How did we get here? What are the thoughts on it? What does this mean for other wide receivers, Jamar Chase, Aiyuk, and plenty that are looking for money? Schefty?
Yeah, I just think we have one more example here of a guy who's getting paid the guaranteed money. You see the numbers right there. It's a 3-year, $90 million deal. I think, what is this? What's the guarantee? $65 million. But now, if you look at the total guarantees on the deal, it's like $106.5 million. And so that, I think, becomes a new benchmark that some of these other guys look to. Now, look, CD's got 1 year left, and that deal with Dallas is going to get done at some point in time. The question is, when does it get done and for how much? You can't tell me that when that regular season opens, that CD Lamb is not going to be there for week 1. I don't believe that. I'll believe that when I see it. I expect him to be there. I think a trickier one is Jamar Chase because he's got 2 years left on his deal. And the Bengals, at least Mike Brown, was pretty open that he wanted to wait until after the season. Now, I think there are people in the Bengals organization that want to get this deal done. They know what the situation is, and we're talking about a wide receiver who was willing in college to sit out a full year to hold on to his value, to make sure nothing happens so that he can get into the draft and become the great top pick that he became for the Cincinnati Bengals. So, again, I think that's a little bit trickier. But the numbers are what they are. We have enough wide receivers now who are averaging $30 million plus per year to do a deal for CD Lamb, to do a deal right now for Jamar Chase, to do a deal for Brandon Aiyuk. Like, it's not hard to do some of these deals right now, and just Tyreek gets you one more example of a wide receiver who's going to be paid a lot of money.
Yeah, unless you don't want to do it. And congrats to all those guys getting the money.
Yep, deserve it.
We don't know how long it's going to happen for. We don't know what the wide receiver market is going to look like in a few years, which is probably why Jamar Chase is like, yo, market is up right now. Let's hit it. Because you never know. You might wake up on a Monday and the market goes a complete different direction.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
The wide receiver market's up, the stock market's down.
Allegedly.
That's the way it goes sometimes.
Ain't crypto.
Right?
I mean, allegedly.
To say the least.
I mean, I haven't looked into it. Definitely. I guess 1,000 points or whatever. So that made its way into my algo. Mm-hmm. And that's when you know. Yeah. That's when you know, oh, no.
Cause for concern.
If it makes it into my algorithm, that is, we know it's an issue because I am a, pretty isolated sports individual. That was all. I woke up this morning. It was like, all right, obviously Tyreek deal, he's happy. Jamar Chase isn't happy. Let me go ahead and do this. $1.9 trillion has been dumped out of the stock.
Excuse me?
How much? How many? And then red arrow on the next one. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I don't know what are they talking about there? That's the whole thing. What country is that one? Oh. All of them. Oh.
Okay.
Then you see draft, and it's not about the NFL.
Yeah. And then it's like
what?
Then I start seeing photos of where ships are going and things. I'm like, wait a minute! Give me back to my sports! Unlike. I hope everybody ends up working out. But let's talk about the wide receiver market a little bit more because there was some conspiracy fodder. Well, which I guess.
Oh boy!
Let's get back to the wide receiver market. Wide receiver market. There was some conspiracy fodder over the weekend from Boston Connor.
Yeah, Schefty. A lot of people in New England are just kind of throwing around the idea of an Aiyuk trade with Matthew Judon involved because obviously Judon, who is back at practice but has been unhappy with his contract situation. Is Aiyuk to New England a reality in any sort, and would Matthew Judon be a piece that would be moved in a possible trade? Because, I mean, it is very public, too. Elliot Wolf has called the Niners like 6 times since the Aiyuk contract hasn't been done.
Yeah, who comes up with these conspiracy theories that has Matthew Judon going to San Francisco?
Pretty cool.
Like, where does that come from?
Pretty cool.
People.
Somebody with it. Very creative.
Just people.
These guys are creative. Or girls.
It's interesting.
I mean, guys is a...
Look, to your point,
universal.
I think New England has been watching Brandon Aiyuk all along.
Oh! Is that Judon? Is that Judon and Aiyuk right there? We're making a play?
No. Brandon Aiyuk is not being traded for Matthew Judon. That's not happening.
How about anybody else?
Okay.
Good.
We can dismiss that. Again, I think New England is in the market of acquiring players. I think that they've watched the Brandon Aiyuk situation from afar the entire time. I think they're tracking it. I think every team out there just is wondering, like, the longer this goes on, do we jump in and make a call on Brandon Aiyuk? Would they listen to our offer? New England certainly, I'm sure, would love to have a guy like Brandon Aiyuk. But again, it takes two sides to tango. You got to satisfy the 49ers if you're ever going to make a deal, and the player has to be willing to take the contract from your organization. And even though he doesn't have a no-trade clause in his contract, he has an unofficial no-trade clause, Brandon Aiyuk does right now, because if he doesn't want to go to a team, he could say, I'm not taking that contract, and then why is that team going to give up the amount of compensation it would take to go get him if they know that they can't get him under a long-term deal?
I thought you were going to say the unofficial trade clause was the fact that the Niners say we could have it for 3 more years if we want. We got 1 more year in the contract and we got 2 franchise tags. Yeah. I thought that was the unofficial no trade clause that is being held by one particular party in there.
And Judon actually
Brandon Aiyuk has got an unofficial no trade tag, or an unofficial no trade clause, because he has the ability to say to these teams, I'm not taking a deal if I don't want to go there. And if he's not taking the deal, then why would the team give up assets, draft capital, to go get a guy like that if he is showing or telling them
Has that happened?
he's not willing to commit there long term?
Has that happened, do you know of, or are you just saying hypothetically?
We're talking hypothetically right now.
Okay, yeah, because this has happened in the past, obviously, where teams have wanted to make a play for somebody, and then the player has said, we are not going to agree to a deal if you trade for us. So it's a waste of assets, and it's never going to happen. That has taken place in the NFL's history before. But the fact that the Niners have 3 years potentially in their eyes, and Aiyuk potentially has places he wants to go that are kind of that potentially. I don't know if anything happens. What do you think ends up with Aiyuk? I mean, just like you said, CeeDee Lamb, you don't see a world where he's not playing week 1. You said the Jamar Chase thing, a little bit more interesting. How about Aiyuk? How about Trent?
Trent Williams, look, they'd love to work to get him back. They're trying to get him back, figure out a scenario. I think he's got 2 years left on his deal, and you're talking about a Hall of Fame tackle, an elite player.
GOAT, they're saying.
But the one concern you have, he's 36 years old, and so you're going to guarantee more money. And that's the thing. Trent Williams is good enough that he could say to the Niners, "I want more money. I want more money, or I'm not coming." And so that's where they're at. And my guess would be at some point in time that the two sides figure out a way to get this done. But Trent Williams is a very proud guy, very smart guy. He's handled his business at the NFL level in an A+ way. So he knows how to get what he wants. And there's time. Like the fact that Trent Williams is missing camp in late July, early August, that's a favor to him. Like that, he doesn't need to be there. Like as long as he's there August 20th and beyond to get ready for that Monday night opener against the Jets on Monday Night Football, everybody will be okay. If we get to the point 2-3 weeks from now and this is still going on with Trent Williams, that would be, I think, worrisome for the 40.
So Trent's going to be back, we assume. That's going to be something that's going to be.
You'd like to think that they'll figure out a way.
Aiyuk, do you think he's back and playing for the Niners starting day?
Again, I think that you just look every day and you look at that situation. He's holding in. He hasn't been out there. There's no resolution. The teams are out there tracking it. They want to see what's going on to see if they can figure out if there's a way to pry him loose. I just think that situation right now is unpredictable.
Okay. Wow. Volatile.
Yeah.
Like, we went back to markets. Markets. We'll stay out of it. I don't need my algo picking up and me saying anything. Let's not use the word market, by the way, around me.
No, never
I don't care if you're going to shop. I don't care if you're talking about wide receivers. I don't care if you're doing anything. I don't want to hear it on this particular thing.
Right. Not even a farmer's market?
No, I don't want to hear it. See, you can say farmer's setup.
Sure, okay.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Farmer's markets are good. Farmer's setups are a good time.
Great time.
Very good time.
Delicious.
Very, very good time. Let's talk about something that is not a good time. Some injuries are starting to pop up. Go ahead, D-Butch.
Yeah, we'll stay in the NFC West. Puka Nacua, LA Rams, see a week-to-week now on the knee injury. Obviously more concerning than the day-to-day. What's the update there with Puka?
Well, he left practice Sunday, and his knee was wrapped. And so when you see that, you worry about it, right? And I made some calls, and basically what came back is it's not serious, but it's week to week. So when I hear week to week in the preseason, that tells me, I say, okay, we won't see that guy until at the very least the last week of the preseason. Now, the Rams are a team that doesn't play its regulars in the preseason very much anyway. So what that injury tells me is there's a real possibility that we won't see Puka at all until the regular season opener in week 1. Do I think he's going to be there in week 1 in Detroit? I do. I don't think it's that problematic. But I think that is an injury right now that is enough to sit him down and hold him out of the preseason games. Like, we're not going to see him the first 2 weeks.
What was it? Is it bruised patella? They said PCL. Did we find out what it was? Because they were wondering whether it was when he hit the ground or if there was a little twisty twist or something like that.
Don't know the exact diagnosis of the knee, but you hear knee, wide receiver, and you say, again, it's August 5th. Let's get him ready for September 5th, not August 5th. That I guarantee that's their thinking right now.
Hey, Godspeed, Oos.
Yeah. Good luck.
Godspeed, Oos. Let's stay in L.A. Another injury. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, Schefty, do you have any updates on Justin Herbert's foot injury? Because it seems like plantar fasciitis is like one of those things that can kind of linger, and obviously Harbaugh told us exactly how he was going to handle it, and he did. But when exactly did this happen, and should there be more cause for concern for him than hey, he'll be ready, by week 1?
Well, I think if your quarterback has something like plantar fascia in his right foot, it's always problematic. And I think the reason that they were so forthcoming about it is that basically they came out and said, we're putting him in a walking boot for 2 weeks. Basically, we're shutting him down. And then they're going to ramp him back up to try to get him ready for the regular season opener. Again, I expect Justin Herbert to play week 1. I expect that this injury would be there for him. I expect that there'll be pain-killing injections to deal with some of that pain on Sunday, that he'll be able to get through without being too limited at all. But these are not fun injuries. They're very painful. They're very uncomfortable. And it's the kind of thing that they're trying to get a hold of now. Again, same thing like Puka. Okay, there's a knee. It's not serious, but let's make sure that we do everything we can for the next month so that even if it means shutting him down in the preseason, so what? We got to have him for week 1 of the regular season. And that's what I think the Chargers are going to wind up doing. Now, where it's not ideal with Justin Herbert is it's a new head coach, it's a new offensive coordinator, it's a new offensive lineman, it's some new receivers. They moved on from Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. You want to develop the chemistry with Justin Herbert. So there's a lot of changes, and in a perfect world, you'd have him out there going through all this. But in a perfect world, it was not perfect because he suffered this injury to his right foot, and they have to deal with it in the best way can. So the best plan now is to make sure he's as healthy as he can be for the opener and for the rest of the season.
Schefty, did we call it plantar fasciitis before or no?
That would be a question for I've heard both. I don't know if there's a distinction between the two. I've heard plantar fascia. I've heard plantar fasciitis. I don't know which one it is. We know that they said plantar fascia, so we'll go with plantar fascia for right now.
Whoa,
Dr. Schefter.
what?
Fascia?
Fellatio.
Yeah.
He's getting plantar fellatio?
Plantar fellatio?
Guy's going to play better than ever, actually.
Okay.
It's a new study. He's got plantar fellatio. He's
flashy.
a whole new situation.
You can ask Harbaugh this, actually.
Guy's going to be jacked up. Can't wait. If I appear to be a medical professional that knows anything about plantar fellatio, you are accurate. Could you imagine Jim Harbaugh all year doing the answer he gave?
So pumped.
Can't wait.
So pumped that he tested it. Now, before final question.
But the funny thing is, last week he came out, he goes, hey, I'm not going to be talking about injuries. Everybody is going to be trying to get over something. I think that was the phrase he used. Where he's trying to get over something.
Get through it.
And then like a day or two later, they just come out and they're like, Justin Herbert has plantar fascia. He's in a walking boot for 2 weeks. We're going to ramp him back up with the idea that he should be ready for week 1, which was a little bit more than getting through something. Yeah, he's getting through something, but we had details about him getting through whatever it was that he was getting through. So, again, I think it's the quarterback. It's the preseason. You can afford to do that, and let's just get this guy ready and get him to where he needs to be on opening day against the Raiders.
Harbaugh's a beauty. We're very pumped that he's back in the NFL, obviously, because him sticking to that index card that he wrote the answers for whenever he's asked any medical questions other than himself. If you ask about me, I'll be able to answer. So I hope somebody does take the opportunity to ask him about his shoulder from 1984, where he popped out of place. How's it feel? Just so Harbaugh can give us an update. Speaking of an update, how do you feel, Michigan man? Whoa.
You cheating son of a bitch.
Whoa, Schefty. How many texts did Sharon delete when he was texting you, Schefty?
I spoke to him about 20 minutes ago. All good.
Okay, your Michigan people are saying all good here because yesterday the internet was upside down, saying it's over. Obviously, people taking shots at Harbaugh, who we love. We'll have Thamel joining us here in about 8 minutes, and a lot of people don't think he's very, in this entire thing.
The Michigan fans, they love Pete, right?
Oh, he didn't put his big boy pants on. But what's happening now, I think Pete Thamel would potentially say, like, all I was saying was what was happening. Like, All I was telling you is that the NCAA was investigating. All I was telling you is there's a sign to it. Like, that's probably the insider world that you guys are in, breaking news and having to take, like, you guys take a lot of shots for shit that inevitably ends up being true. You know, like that is kind of how the game goes.
Yeah.
And I think Pete Thamel will probably feel a little bit of that. But you're saying, as a Michigan man, are you worried about what was kind of released or leaked?
As a Michigan man, as somebody who believes in Coach Moore, I'm not concerned. I'm not. Now, again, I don't know what Pete knows, but I know I spoke to the man himself here for a while and feel pretty good about what he said, and we'll see what happens here.
I love Coach Moore. I've got a chance to learn a lot about him over this past offseason.
Great guy.
Great. I love him. He's been incredibly kind to me. And Wink Martindale, obviously, the new DC, like, we are we love Wink Martindale. So
I'll just say this. The defense looks good in practice.
Yeah, I would assume. Yeah, you got Wink Martindale dialing up
Wink
plays.
is fired up. Wink is all fired up about this defense.
Him disguising and just in college, these quarterbacks, the biggest adjustment for quarterbacks from college to the NFL is understanding what the hell is happening in front of you. And then Wink is just going to be.
Oh, my God.
I mean, it is.
That D-line, and they got the best corner probably to be in the draft next year with Will Johnson. We saw on field level, boots on the ground. Cannot wait.
But what will the punishments be? Will they be even allowed to win? Will they be even allowed to win? We'll talk to Pete Thamel and see what the NCAA.
Hey, you know what? I was in Ann Arbor before that infamous trip back, and I took my wife and my daughter to brunch, and I'm online at this place. It's packed. And I take a step back and I step on a guy's foot. I'm like, oh my, I fell over like a little bit. I'm like, turn around. And I turn, like, whoa, you're Will Johnson, aren't you?
Come on, why yourself?
And I met him before. I stepped on Will's foot.
Yeah, trying to break his ankle. Plantar fascia. Yeah, trying to get him plantar fascia.
Plantar fascia. He's all ready to go for the season. He's a great kid. He's a great kid.
That's all. Yeah, they're very. I'll be excited to see what Pete Thamel says. All right, last question from Hammer. Todd Tone Diggs.
Quick clear up. Plantar fascia is the ligament. Plantar fasciitis is when the ligament is inflamed. Okay.
See that? That's outstanding.
Thank you. Just want to let you know that, Schefty.
The plantar fascia gets
both the same thing.
Plantar fascia is plantar fascia is the actual body part. Plantar fasciitis is the condition.
Oh, so he has plantar fasciitis on his plantar fascia.
Bingo.
Okay, so whenever they say plantar fascia, that is them trying to say it is happening with this ligament. You can get what he's getting through it. Classic. This is exactly what he was talking about. Okay, so plantar fascia, body part.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Tone.
No problem. Schefty, on Friday, I planted a seed into my brain that Justin Fields should and will be the starter of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And tell you what, that seed didn't stop growing over the weekend, more that I read and watched. Russ still isn't doing a ton of 11-on-11 team activities. Is there a chance that Justin Fields does take the pole position in Pittsburgh?
Again, we got to see what Russell's like when he gets back. But Russell had that pole position, per Mike Tomlin. And let's see what happens when Russell gets back. But look, here's the thing. Justin Fields has gotten better and better every practice. And they love the guy. He's a natural leader. And he's got support. But I still think that Russell, when he gets back, had the idea to be the pole position. But when someone's not practicing, it gives somebody else the opportunity. And Justin Fields, by all accounts so far, has come in and taken advantage of that and impressed them with the way that he's played. And that's not surprising. The people in Chicago love the guy. And now he's getting a chance to impress people in Pittsburgh. And we'll see what Russell has to say about that when he gets back from this calf injury.
Artie Smith, seemingly beloved by everybody. George Pickens is singing his praises. I think Naj is as well. I assume Muth is saying good things.
Pat, who doesn't like somebody right now in training? Have we heard?
Yeah, publicly at least. Publicly as well, too. Yeah.
Lions and the Giants.
They haven't lost the game yet. Everything's going great. Like, everybody loves everybody right now, pretty much.
Yeah, and you have to publicly.
Except for the Lions and Giants fighting today. They don't like each other.
Hey, that happens. How do you guys normally cover that in your sphere of journalists? It's like fights. Because the way we led the show is like, that is a guaranteed fight. Just because as people that I've only been a part of one joint practice. It was with the Chicago Bears. And I think there was at least one big one each day that had happened. And as you're sitting on the sideline, if you're a person that is curious about stuff, which I happen to be, you actually look around and you go, how does this not end in a fight? Like, how does this not end in a fight? Especially with some of the drills that take place and what they want to see and the situations that people are put in. And then like, hey, there's only 4 open spots on the entire defense on this team, but on the other team, there's like potential 7 roster spots. So it's your first time being showcased in front of their front office and their scouting department. It's like, It's a guaranteed brawl, and the Giants and Lions are fighting. And if you're a Giants fan, I think you should be pumped because not only did Daniel Jones get in, but the Lions are known to be gritty, tough. That's what we're going to do. Yeah. And the Giants have had to answer the bell here. They've had to answer the bell, and I think they have. That's what we learn from these types of situations.
You know what? First, these things, they're a lot of great video. They're great for the aggregators because you play this video. It's like you want to watch, you want to see who's getting involved here, who's throwing punches. I don't know what it means. I know this, that it's been awfully hot on the East Coast, and I can't imagine being in pads and hitting people like for a couple hours. At the end, I think somebody's going to want to beat the crap out of somebody no matter what because it's really warm and you get really agitated really quickly. And so maybe some of that is a byproduct of the weather going on because it's bad out.
Schefter, no matter what your league does to the kickoff, there's always going to be physicality.
That's right.
No matter
There's always going to be physical. What are you hearing from coaches about the kickoff? Here's where I stand. I got asked about it a lot this weekend. Was very fortunate to be in Canton to watch Dwight Freeney go in. Saw a lot of people, caught up with a lot of people. Awesome. The rain, 2-hour delay. Not great.
Did you get to hang with Michael Jordan at all?
No. Going in, we're smoking Stokes, sweet, MJ's. Yeah. Hey, these ones pretty cool. Pretty cool. Rain got ruined. Didn't know if you wanted to put me on a mailing list that potentially just gets new shoes every day. That'd be sweet to work that. I did not, but I saw basically all the Colts people from the past, and everybody that has been around football for a long time. And the people in Canton obviously are great hosts for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Walked around, obviously a lot of conversation, A lot of people ask me about the kickoff. What do you think about the new kickoff? What do you think? Is this football? Is this football? Is this football? A lot of that. And it's like, well, the kickoff is going to be extinct. So it's either no kickoff or this kickoff. So whenever you're talking about that, I love it. I love the new kickoff, which I think is how it should be viewed. But I think we're not really going to know what the hell this looks like until the regular season because some people are saying they're disguising it. But also, you don't have the 4-2, 4-3, 4-4 returners back there, which is going to make this look very different than what's going to look all preseason. What's the conversation you're hearing from your people, Schefty?
I got some texts from people the morning after that they didn't like it, right? And I'm like, it's one game. Let's wait and see what happens over the course of we're not judging on one game, but I think the one thing that special teams coaches noticed right away, coaches across the league, everything just happens faster. The holes close faster. The guys get to the returner faster. It's bam, bam. And if you miss that little window for anything, then the play's over. To your point, it's something. They're trying to keep the kickoff alive because they were trying to take that play out of the game. But it's bam, bam. It happens pretty quick. It's one game. I don't think we're ready to make any judgments yet. Let's see how the rest of the preseason plays out before we're casting any aspersions on whether this is a good or bad play right now.
And believe me, I'm not the most we need to see more. We need to see more guy about anything, okay? But I think not only preseason, let's wait until a couple weeks into the regular season to see how the actual dudes are doing it, so we can really figure it out. No, there's a lot. Hey, you're not the only one.
Hate it.
I walked around that Hall of Fame talking to a bunch of ex-players and seeing a bunch of ex-players.
Mickey Mouse.
This is happening under your watch, they're saying to me.
Jeez.
Because we're on a microphone.
Oh, yeah.
And loud. They're like, this is under your,
It's for the brand.
Yeah, it's happening to my, I had a lot.
So they don't like it. They don't like it?
Boy, I don't think I've talked to one football person that has been love what's going on there. I don't think. I mean, Braun Breaker's head almost exploded whenever he saw it. And he played at Kennesaw State, classic football guy, intercontinental champion for the WWE. But on our show, Schefter was the first time he found out, what's that? And they're changing the kickoff.
It's not football.
In his head, almost. That's how a lot of football people feel. But I had to explain to him, hey, it's either no kickoff or this kickoff. So let's all.
We like it.
I'm afraid of what Ty said last week. Be 12 touchdowns week 1.
That's awesome.
These are good things.
I'm in for that.
These are good things. Less defense. We like that. Yeah.
More points.
Hey, we appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, senior NFL insider, friend of the program, Adam Schefter. Thank you, buddy.
Schefty.